Hi, this is Ken Okel. Welcome to this presentation, which we are calling How to Improve Your Virtual Conference. In the past, you may have had an annual conference. Attendees would come out to it. Everyone have a great time. You had the organization down. You were really good at it. All of a sudden, you're having to put on a virtual event, as that seems like it's going to be virtual for a little while. So how do you make sure that the experience is rewarding for attendees and they will feel good about attending and then coming back the next year? I want to give you some tips and suggestions that can help you improve the event. I'm assuming that you have a pretty good handle on the technology. I want to give you some tips and suggestions for some of those other areas. These are all actionable tips. It's important for me to give you information that you can use right away. I am a professional speaker. My name is Ken Okel. I talk to organizations about how they can improve their performance, especially when faced with challenges. At the end of this presentation, you will have a chance to download a little guide I've put together that highlights some of the key points of this talk. It's a free download. You don't have to sign up for anything. My gift to you. Hope it is useful. First thing, what I always like about conferences is you get out of the office when you go to it. I call it the out-of-office experience. You're in a different location. There are lots of people who may think like you. There's a lot of excitement in the air. It's fun. How can you create some of that same atmosphere with your event? And it's not just about the presentations, because I'm sure you can get good people to present virtually or in person. But what about those other things that give you that out-of-office experience with a conference? Because let's face it, everyone is going to be spread out. Very few people are going to be watching together. So how do you take a bunch of people and make them feel like they're part of a community and part of a group that are enjoying your event? Because sometimes it's as simple as recreating the atmosphere when people are waiting online for coffee and they just start to have a conversation and they find out, hey, we're kind of alike. We have some of the same challenges. Let's stay in touch. That is not a conversation that's on the official program, but it's one of the benefits of your event when you bring people together for those opportunities to network. You also want to think about giving people opportunities to have discussions, to talk amongst themselves where they are contributing to the event. Now, some of these discussions, they might be happening in the hallway. They might be in a more formal session. So how do you do that in the virtual world? A lot of software has an opportunity to put people into groups or rooms where you can take a whole lot of people and assign them to smaller groups where those people are able to interact with one another. You can pick a topic, give them a certain amount of time, maybe 5-7 minutes, and then they rejoin the big group. This is a way for people to have opportunities to network. So think about your event, look at the schedule, and make sure you are sprinkling in opportunities for people to have discussions. Some of these might be at the beginning of your day before the official programming starts. Maybe you have an opportunity for people to come, meet, network with one another like they would if they were having breakfast together. Maybe there's during some of the breaks. You give people, hey, if you don't need to visit the bathroom, maybe you'd like to take part in a discussion. Think about ways you can add that interactive element, because I think when we go to a conference, we're there to learn, we're there to hear things, but we also like to give our 2 cents and connect with people who see the world much like we do. For virtual events, it's very important to set the expectations, to let the attendees know what they should be expecting. Almost think of it like when you were in kindergarten and the teacher would give you a preview of the day and what was ahead and what could you expect. As a result of that, you relaxed. You were like, okay, there's a schedule, there's a process. I'm good with it. Think about the same type of thing. This also applies to technology. At some events, the presenters or just the overall event, they want everyone to have things like webcams on. So all participants could be seen by other participants. Not everyone is comfortable with that, especially if they haven't had a heads up and a chance to prepare for that. They may not be happy with the background that they have. They may feel like, I need a few minutes to make myself a little more presentable. Obviously, some people may have more going on in their home or their office than others. You have to respect that. So if people are going to be expected to be on camera, let them know. Also, keep in mind, some people may have a lot of noise in their room. Perhaps they're sharing the space with kids who are doing online school. So unmuting their microphone may not be as easy as you think. Sometimes in presentations, there's some sort of special software that people will have to use during the session. It might be polling software. Maybe it's something where they're able to annotate things on the screen or add to a word cloud. If there is something new that people may have never encountered before, you need to let them know about it ahead of time. I think it's very good to do a little training video that you would send to attendees ahead of time that would explain the process. Sometimes it might be as simple as making sure that they've updated to the most recent version of the meeting platform. That might solve the problem. But you don't want to be having an important interactive exercise, and instead of people being able to use technology effectively, they're struggling with it because they've never used it before. So for this reason, preview the experience, make sure they have a good idea of what's coming. Speaking of that, I think it is important to give people a good idea of that schedule. Like I was saying with kindergarten, let them know, okay, are there bathroom breaks? Because sometimes people are like, I don't think there's a bathroom break coming up. Got to go, got to walk down the hall, be back in a couple minutes. The bathroom break might have been seconds away, and you don't want someone feeling like, oh, I missed something. Let people know what are the predictable elements of your event. When are you starting? When are you taking a lunch break? Let them know, too, if there's going to be opportunities for breakout sessions, for people to have chatting, networking opportunities. Let them know what's ahead. At the same time, though, think about, can you introduce some surprises into your event? I'm not saying necessarily to shock people, but are there moments of joy that you can provide? Perhaps it's a special guest for an interview, someone who shows up, a beloved former member of your organization who shows up just to kind of say, hi, hang in there, everybody. Something like that. Is there some sort of award that you could give? It could be a new fictional award. I mean, if you have people who are on camera, your audience members, maybe you give an award for the best person's background on the audience. Or maybe there's something fun that you do, like wear a funny hat for the talk, and you have a contest for who wore the funniest hat. What are those little moments of fun, surprise, and joy that can help energize people, put a smile on their face? Think about those types of things. The right bite. When it comes to presentations in the virtual world, usually they need to be a little shorter than the ones that you would have in person. So you want to take that 90-minute presentation and maybe even cut it in half to 45 minutes. Really trying to think about people's patience as they sit in front of a screen. It's different than if you're in an auditorium. Announcements. Can you compress them? Make sure people get the information they need. But sometimes announcements that run 20 minutes, it's a lot when you're in person. It's a really long time when it's virtual. So make sure that you're thinking about time in different ways. And perhaps it's about how you hold your conference. You may want to follow the old model you've had. If it's a 3-day conference, you may want to do it over 3 days. For a lot of attendees, that may work well. They can just block out 3 days. But some organizations are switching things up. So instead of 3 days, they're spreading out the content over 3 weeks, where perhaps a few days a week, it's a 2 or 3 hour session. So they took all those days and spread them out over weeks, perhaps making it easy for people to consume the information. This could increase the amount of time people have for networking. So it could be a really good move. Remember these? I still have a big box of cassette tapes, and some of them even hold meeting replays. Think about, how are you going to handle a replay of your conference? For some, it's a gotta be there event. They want people to attend the event. They want them to be there. If you miss it, you missed out. That's one perspective. There's no right or wrong. Another perspective is that the replay is available. Make sure people know when. Is it 24 hours? Is it 2 weeks? Make sure whatever time you're giving out is a conservative estimate, because if you promise too early and it's not there, people get mad. Some will have the replay available forever. If you're registered, you can get the replay as much as you like. Others may say, okay, this replay will be available for a month, 90 days. They pick a time because here, perhaps they want to make sure that people are going to get the information and are going to act on it. If it's just available, like something that's in your Netflix queue, but you never get around to watching it, well, that doesn't really help the attendees get the information that you want to give. So think about your decision early on about how you're going to handle a replay, because it's easy to record sessions and post them up somewhere. Decide, though, how you're going to do it. Here's that guide I was talking about. It's got some fun pictures in it. Easy to download. Right now, I am going to the chat box, and I've posted the link. So you're able to go in there and just grab it. Download it, share it with anyone who you think might benefit from it. My gift to you. Also, I will put the information on the download on my YouTube channel and also on my website. So if you're watching there, you should be able to see the same thing. A little bit about me. My name is Ken Okel. As I mentioned before, professional speaker. I talk to organizations that are improving your performance. I also speak at conferences, both in person and virtual. Find out more about me. Go to my website. It's like my name, kenokel.com. Email me, tvguy@kenokel.com. For a lot of years, I worked in TV news. When you'd be out and about, people would recognize you, but they would not remember your name. So they would shout things at you like, hey, TV guy, hence the name. And I also welcome you to connect with me on LinkedIn. That is under my name, Ken Okel. If you do give me an invitation, could you please put in the invitation how you first came across me, like with this session? That helps me make sure that you're a good connection, a good person that I wanted to be connected to. It's been an adjustment to shift from in-person conferences to virtual events. I hope some of these tips and suggestions can help you make your event a great one. I'm Ken Okel. Take care.